Hey everyone, this is Stacy with SF Johnson Consulting and Construction Services, and in this video we're going to discuss the basics of plumbing estimating and what we need to consider and what we need to look at if we're going to be an estimator that handles specifically plumbing, and what comes first, second, and third. Okay, so this is the cover sheet for the plumbing set, and it's going to give us all of our plumbing fixtures, everything that we're going to be installing, and it will give us the size of the hot water, cold water, and the sanitary pipe sizes and the vent size. And so that's important when it comes to your rough ends. And so we know that if we're going to install plumbing equipment for the very first time, we need to add to our estimate what's called the rough end cost, and that is the additional cost to install the cold water, and sanitary systems to that piece of plumbing equipment for the very first time. So you always have to consider that, well, in addition to your plumbing fixtures themselves. And so if you have a good cost book, it's going to give you the cost per type of fixture, and of course the man hour units that it's going to take you to install that. So please never forget that, in its specific to only new construction. If you have a renovation, it doesn't apply. So if you're going to just take one water closet out and install it with another in a renovation, that would not apply. So roughing costs only apply to new construction. And so here are your fixtures, and then all your typical symbols. We're going to replace a water heater, so this is a good idea of all the things that you're going to have to find the prices for. And as we know, just like for the electrical set, there are two plans. There's one for the sanitary system, a sanitary and vent system, and then there's another one for the water, gas, and whatever other systems that are appropriate to this type of building, and these people are doing inside the building. Because this is our set of auto repair shops. There is for the plumbing set, we'll have a compressed air and a gas line as well. Okay, so this is the sanitary system. Of course, we have to have a good tool that was going to measure linear feet, because yeah, our piping is in linear feet. And so if you have a good cost book too, you don't have to really consider angles and reinforcements, because all of that is considered in the price. If you do the assembly price for plumbing for that type and size, it's going to include all of the supports, any angles that it assumes you need, supports you need, because based on industry standards, it has to be supported at certain lengths or whatever. And so if you have a good cost book, that'll help you eliminate having to do this and the small little things, especially if you bid a lot, right? And so always, 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 when we bid a lot, we're going to use a cost book. We're going to use a very good digitized software to make our measurements. But if we win, right? If we win, then we go back and we do a very good detailed overview of what we've done to make sure that price is appropriate. If it's more than 30 days, you have to look at the material cost again to make sure it's the same and that kind of stuff. So, okay, so the plumbing plan, we take all of our linear measurements, and don't worry about the fixtures, because we're going to use this riser diagram to count all of our fixtures. Okay, so we use all the plans to measure our linears. So that's sanitary and vent, and then the other plan is for all of the cold water, hot water, piping. Okay, running to the same fixtures, of course. And so we just have to have a good tool to measure linear. And then this one has gas line. And so, same thing, just linears and compressed air. Now, when you have something like this is a 1/2 inch compressed air line. And for this one, they wanted us to use black steel. So, and then a control, but this indicates we don't know where the end of the line's going to be. And so in that case, you have to give them something. And so what I did is just give them to the end of the building. It's got to be somewhere within the building. At least you give a good allowance, and then you let them know that as well. Okay. And so now the riser diagrams. You use the riser diagrams to determine the vertical measure of pipe, because pipes go up and down, right? And your plan only shows you the horizontal measures of the pipe. But at certain location, the pipes are going up and down. And so that's what the riser diagram helps you determine the size and going up. So rule of thumb I always use is typically 10 feet per going up. So 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, 10, you know what I'm saying? So, that's how you determine it, and that's why I put a dot on each one. So 2-inch vent, and every time I see that, okay, so I know I've added 20 of them. Well, I know that's 200 feet of 2-inch vent vertically. And if you have a good cost book, it will give you a different cost for a horizontal assembly price as opposed to a vertical assembly price. So you want to look out for that too. But the other thing is you can use the riser diagrams to count all of your plumbing equipment and be very accurate, as opposed to I always like using it from the riser diagram. And remember, you're going to have different risers. So you have a gas riser, you have a sanitary riser. It's typically going to be the same things that you're counting, so you don't have to count it twice. But look on in the water plan, like if there's a water heater, that's not really sanitary, so it wouldn't be on the sanitary riser, it would be more on the water riser. So things like that you need to look out for. Or if it's an oil interceptor, which is a sanitary system type thing, it would only be on the sanitary riser and not on the water riser. So those are kind of little things you need to look out for. But other than that, you could just use one of the risers to do all of your equipment, your plumbing equipment counts, and all of your venter roofs. Okay, so shoot. And then there's a gas riser. And see, all of these measures are on your plan. The horizontal measures are all on the plan, so you don't have to measure that. Riser diagrams are just to show you where the vertical measure up and down is. So when you put your estimate together, this is basically what we do. And of course, we love detail. So all of the horizontal work, and it says PVC, but it's not. I mean, sanitary is PVC. The water is copper. Okay, so that's all the horizontal measures of pipe and how many linear feet. And then this is the vertical measure of pipe and how many linear feet. And then, of course, all of the fixtures, right? The cost, and then the rough ends that apply. And then, of course, we're always going to add a cost to connect the existing waste, vent, water to the new service. And then the vent to roofs, and then all that little stuff. And you want to check your specifications, because you most likely have to have insulation for the pipe. Okay? And testing the system, especially with plumbing. Okay, so you want to break it down in very good detail. Okay, if you'd like to take a class with us, let us know. We'd love to show you how to do, and basically what we do is start with very simple projects and then work our way up to hotels, so you know what to do in each event and how to determine, again, just each of the measures, how to determine up and down the walls, and the rough end cost. Those are things that are important that you have to make sure you include. That's not necessarily on the plans, right? So you have to include that, and then testing and flushing the system. So if you have any questions, please let me know at education@sfjohnsonconsulting.com. Let me know what you think of the video, and please keep your eye out for the next one. Talk to you soon.